Gentlemen, welcome back to another video. My name is Striker.
My name is Luba, and our channel is about dating in Ukraine and taking practical approach. But today's video is a little bit different because we're going to cover one of the most favorite topics by this guy, and this topic is about sex. Of course, but we decided
we did it.
We decided to that is going to be very important for you, so it will be mini series of 3 videos. As we touch this touch the base, I don't know how to call it correctly, but almost on every call with the guys, especially when the guys are just calling us for the strategy goal and they are in a relationship by themselves, like they start this relationship somehow. So let's do it. So the first part of this mini series will be about
this is about when will she have sex. So we're going to try and refrain from making this video, with the sex
word,
with the S word, right? So we're just going to say, we'll say sex, okay? So when will she? And we've had calls, many calls over the last year or so with guys that can't quite get to the next level, even when they take the lady away on vacation,
or they get to this point too soon.
But that's for the other topics.
But for the other topics, it's the problem. The problem.
Yeah, it's a three-part series. Sorry, we should have said that at the start. So it's a 3-part series about the problems that we see when it comes to sex. So the first one is that when will she have sex with you? And this is one that I've thought about for a long time, and I thought about making sort of one of my red pill videos about this, right? Because there's a lot of misconception around it, and there's also there's a lot of confusion, and nobody's really giving it to you straight, right? And it's actually not that difficult to understand. And I've seen videos on some of these other Ukraine sort of life type channels. When will she basically give it up? We'll call it that. Well, when will she have sex with the guy? And they say not on the first date, not on the second date. If she gets to the 3rd date, yeah, maybe you're lucky. Maybe it's the 4th date. Maybe you should wait a little bit. It's on the 2nd trip. Okay, we're not going to talk about any of that stuff there because that is all just complete and utter total BS.
But the funny part about this is that when I'm in I have a lot of obviously female friends, and when one of the girls going to the date, and it's not necessarily my clients, it's just my friends, and everybody discussing when the girls also worry about that. They worry when should they have it, if the first date is too soon, or maybe if she's doing it later, the guy will lose the interest. So this kind of the world question that everybody is always
I can fix this for all of you guys out there, and for you and your friends when you're out drinking wine and talking about sex. And one thing I'll tell you here, women talk about hooking up with guys and sex a lot more than what guys do. Okay, I'm telling you that right now. Anyway, so when,
oh my God.
So when will she have sex with you? Okay, it's very, very simple, okay? It's when you meet the value threshold of her, right? She has a value threshold of when she's, decided that this is the time when I'm going to have sex, right? And that value threshold you can't control, right? So, and when it comes to value, people don't place value on themselves. The value for somebody else is placed on them by other people around, right? So how much does she value you in order to have sex? It could be on the first date. She sees a man and she thinks, I need to lock this man down now. And women know it's built into their DNA that the way to lock down a man, or the way to, they think a way to keep a man interested or show them is by having sex. But you may not get that on the first date. She might think, I'm not quite sure about this guy. Right? Maybe the 2nd date, it's going to happen. Maybe the 3rd date. Yes, go ahead.
No, just different between guys and the ladies. You always say that the guy understands immediately if he wants this woman or no, and for the ladies it needs it takes some time to.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, to qualify. I don't know.
Yeah, well, to figure out if this man has enough value to have sex with her, right?
We're talking here about serious relationship. We're not talking about you drinking some cocktails.
No, I'm also talking about that.
That at the bar, she will go with you or no?
Yeah, and I'm not saying that.
It depends, why she came to the bar. If we talk about.
It doesn't matter. The man has to have enough value for her to go, yep, even if it's a one-night hookup. Let's say she wants to go out and she's thinking, tonight I'm going to go out, have fun with my friends, get a bit loose, and if I meet a man but she's not going to have sex with anyone. He has to reach a value threshold.
And
now,
also attraction should be there, like either this or this. Like,
well, that's what, if you encompass everything, it's like just attraction, the way he holds himself. Maybe he just comes across as having a really strong masculine frame, and she's thinking, yeah, I'm happy. She may not be like the most happy, she may not be her ideal man, but he has reached that value threshold. That value threshold is set by her, not just by her, by other men that she has been with in the past. So if she's only hooking up with like, top shelf guys, full stack men that are rich, that are tall, handsome, she's not going to go with a man who's beneath that, right? And some of this comes down to the fundamentals of hypergamy, right? Is that she's always going to want to date up. Of course, there are going to be times where, her value threshold is lower. Maybe she's feeling some insecurities. Maybe she's just broken up with a boyfriend. Maybe she's trying to get back at someone or whatever it is. But the time when you will end up having sex with her is when you have met the value threshold of what she has set to have sex with. And sometimes alcohol can lower that threshold, can't it? We know that.
Okay.
Same with guys as well. Don't get me wrong, alcohol is kind of a bit of a problem. But to answer the question, right, if anybody out there is telling you that, she needs to have it on the second date or the third date, and that determines whether or not she's a good girl or a bad girl, or whether she's a slut or whatever it is, whether she's wife material, like some of that might be true, but let's put it this way, right? So like a woman who has very high self-esteem, she's got very good self-worth, she's not, she doesn't cut herself for fun, she doesn't have daddy issues and all that sort of stuff, and she thinks, I'm not going to have sex with a man on the first night because he'll lose respect to me. Lose respect for her. Think about this. Let's say some famous actor, Johnny Depp, for example, is at the bar and she's a super good girl and Johnny Depp starts talking to her. And Johnny Depp's much older, but he's very famous. He's got a lot of money. He's got a lot of social status. And he says to her, come on, let's go back to my place. She's going to jump on it like that. Why? Because that value threshold has been smashed. Yes, it's an extreme case, but it emphasizes my point here is that if she sees enough value in you to have sex with you, because in her mind, through evolution, right, women know that is what that men are after, right? There's a whole subset that goes into this as well, but to keep it nice and simple, and what the topic of the video is about, is that when she will have sex with you is when you have reached her value threshold that has been set by her, but also other people around her who have valued her.
But what is the biggest problem here? And I talk from the speech of all the ladies that I know, is that there is a joke that is, it's not really a joke when the girls are saying, like when they have...
Is this the monkey one?
No. When they have the S word... When they have the S action, the girl is thinking, what a beautiful start, of the relationship. And for the guy, again, you may disagree with me, but a lot of times, unfortunately, this is happening, especially in Ukraine, or I don't know, maybe all over.
So let me just clarify.
So this is like, they said it's such a good start, and for the guy, it's like, oh, such a good finish. Like finish of the night, finish of the, like that.
He's like, but I'll chalk that up on the board, and she's at home going, oh, I wonder when we'll get married.
Exactly. Like, unfortunately, this is what happened. That's why, like, some guys thinking that, oh, this lady is like too cold. She's not willing to have it with me. It's not about that. She just doesn't want to be hurt. Like, she maybe see even more value in you, and she do want to have it with you, but she understands that, she will be too easy to reach if she have it with you too, like, in the same night. So what you said is right. Like, when she will have it, like when she feel it, when she see enough value in you, and etc. Because for guys, it's a little bit easier. And you can't prove me wrong, like that, that they want a little bit, I don't know, more emotionally than the girl. Does it make sense?
No.
Okay. No, but the guy understand faster if he wants this woman. The guy doesn't need to think too much about that before he offer that.
Everyone is different, right? So we can't say it's either 1 or 2. It's like ones and zeros. It's a formula, right? It's not. And if you understand, we've got there's 3 videos here. If you understand these 3 videos and you refrain, listen to the second part of this video. If you refrain from having sex, right, it can have a huge benefit to your to making the right decisions going forward. But we'll discuss that in the next video as well. But
But not, it's very important not to focus just on that in your relationship. There is many things, if you are serious and if you're looking for making this relationship to work, there's many things to watch out for, except this is the biggest part, like it's the very big part of relationship, but there's also a lot of things to watch out for, how she treats you, your attitude, and etc, etc. So
and that actually all ties into the second video, right? Because there's a lot more to it than just having sex. Now, I've seen comments, I think even on a video that I did about this a couple of years ago, where people were guys in the comments, they'll say things like, no, you need to try it out to see what it's like to have sex. Yes and no, right? So this can also be detrimental to your success depending on what your goal is. If your goal is just to have sex, then hey, who cares, right? Doesn't matter what she's like after that, because it's like you're just out to have sex. And maybe she just is out to have sex as well, and you've both reached each other's value threshold. For guys, that's a little bit easier. We kind of joke about how a guy knows within like 3 seconds whether or not he would have sex with this woman or not. A woman in about 3 seconds or so will know if she will definitely never ever have sex. She'll never have sex with this man ever. Or the opposite of that is, she might, but she just got to sort of see what's going on first to see if it's going to reach that value
and
threshold.
the girls don't know, the girls don't know what is the best. Unfortunately, if there are any guy who would stay on the YouTube and say like them what to do, like, and what not to do, there's a lot of psychologists, because like, I always watch some videos about like relationship and stuff to be able to be useful, because the ladies asking me questions as well. And there's a lot of like, nobody knows the recipe, nobody, like maybe with some guy you will have it at the first night and you will be married for the rest of your life. Nobody knows how it goes, but that if we talk overall, like if we don't talk about some extreme cases or like some emotional nights or drunk or whatever, like if we talk when she will have S word with you, I think that you cover it up and you explain it well enough for the guys to understand that if there's if this is not happening in your relationship, that probably she is not that interested, and maybe you need to reassume, should you pursue this relationship or no?
Yeah, you could reassess it, but it might just be that she's unsure, and unsure is the same as like you haven't quite reached that value threshold of whatever it is that she has set. This is the practical part of when it comes to trying to understand a woman, because we have had many calls, with guys saying, like, I've spent so many nights with her, but nothing has never escalated to the next step. Okay, so basically what it is that she's unsure, or you haven't taken like, more of a proactive role possibly in that relationship, shown her that you can be like this more, I guess, dominant, more you can frame fully in this relationship, and she's somebody that is willing to follow. You haven't been able to get to that stage yet, and it may just be that it's going to take some time. But one thing I'll say here is the longer that it goes on, the less likely that it's going to happen, because the start of any relationship should always be going up, especially at the start. Let's just talk about the start. A relationship should always be going on an upward trend. If it's going just stagnant like this, it's actually going downhill. And
I'm saying always that if it is not good at the beginning, like, don't expect it to be better later. Like, really, if your relationship, like if you're arguing all the time, if you always like cheat at each other and she give you a hard time, like, trust me, like that will not be fixed in the future relationship, and you should like really reassume, like you really need to relook at this relationship. But also the good benefit for you, if this is not happening, it's also like help you to define your relationship a little bit, right? And also it gives you opportunity to understand that you don't have any obligations. And if this girl is, for example, asking you to buy her a bunch of stuff and asking you for new phones and this, but she's not giving you that, this is also like, it's good to know. It means that she definitely, like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, she's not interested. Like, if it is we're not talking about first, second, or third date. We're talking about like, half a year relationship.
Yeah.
If she's just using and sucking everything from you, but not giving anything back to you, you also need to think about that. It's not about your comfort. There's something else. Like, she just literally doesn't want it, and it's literally maybe even a scam.
One thing to think about, that if she's spending time with you, right? and there's no financial benefit in it for her. So I'm trying to eliminate here, like guys thinking that, well, maybe she's a scammer, she's hanging out,
Yeah.
but so there's no financial benefit in for her, like say restaurant scams, free gifts, money, whatever. If she's spending time with you, right, she's evaluating you. She's trying to figure it out. She may be running congruency tests to see if you're congruent with who you are, or who she thinks you are to who you actually are. She's trying to figure it out, right? And don't worry about thinking like I've had 6 dates and I haven't had sex yet, right? Because if you understand what's in these 3 videos, you should be the one that's in control of this, right? Because if you're thinking to yourself, she needs to give me sex, right, sex. Sorry, I'm going to get us banned from YouTube. But if you're the one thinking she needs to give it to me, you're in a completely wrong frame, right? You should be the one that's in control of whether or not your relationship goes to the next level. And if you're fully out of control, and you're just like having sex with women all over the place, it's going to get really, really messy really, really soon. You're going to end up ghosting women. And I just think that some of the stuff is, having sex while pretending that, you want to have a serious relationship. These things are all going to come back and haunt you in the form of something that I like to call karma, right? So the start of when you go on this journey, have these things in mind. In these videos that we're going to talk about, think about them, right, from a practical point of view. Forget about the emotional side, right? The emotional side of this journey of yours, leave that to the woman, right? Be practical about everything you do. Have some control, some restraint when it comes to some of these things, and stop thinking, when am I going to have sex with her? When is it going to get to the next level? Right? If you're doing everything correctly and you're holding strong masculine frame, right? She sees you as a man that can lead in the relationship. She sees you as a man that can solve the problems that any 2 of you might come up with in a relationship together. She will be the one that is pursuing you, right? And if you have no woman that's pursuing you at all, and you're constantly pursuing women like kind of like begging for it, this is not attractive for women at all. Okay, so we want you guys to think about these things before you come over to Ukraine and put yourself in the strong frame. Know exactly where your centered point of origin is. Know exactly who you are as a man, what you will and what you won't put up with, and stop thinking about when will you get some, because it is detrimental to your success for the long term. Short term, hey, whatever, who cares, go out, have fun. So anyway, this is part 1 of the videos of sex that you need to understand before you decide to go over to Ukraine to to date, to meet women, to form a long-term relationship. So stay tuned for part 2.